Hi, and welcome to That's Ruddy Mysterious, a podcast of short tales about true mysteries. What happened to the Flannan Isles Lightkeepers? Who was responsible for the Gardner Museum heist? I'm not going to solve those mysteries, but they'll be interesting to learn about. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. Transcripts for all episodes can be found at that'sruddymysterious.wordpress.com. No apostrophe and no exclamation point. Today we'll be talking about the ghost ship Mary Celeste. In 1860, construction of the Amazon began by Joshua Dewis on the shores of the Bay of Fundy in Nova Scotia. In 1861, the Brigantine was complete. By May of that year, the Amazon was christened and set sail. The Amazon faced problem after problem. On its maiden voyage, Captain Robert McClellan caught pneumonia and died. The Amazon was also damaged multiple times, the most noteworthy time being on October 7, 1867. On that date, the Amazon ran aground in Cow Bay, Cape Breton. This event so badly damaged the Amazon that the owners abandoned it. 8 days later, on October 15th, the Amazon was acquired by Alexander McBean. The Amazon then changed hands a few times before being sold to American businessman Richard Haynes. Haynes rebuilt the Amazon, substantially changing it, and in 1869 rechristened it the Mary Celeste. On November 7, 1872, the Mary Celeste set sail for the first time under that name. It was bound for Genoa, Italy, packed with 1,700 barrels of denatured alcohol. There were 10 people aboard the Mary Celeste: Captain Benjamin Briggs, his wife and 2-year-old daughter Sophia, and 7 crew members. Captain Briggs was 1/3 owner of the Mary Celeste. During this voyage, the weather was rough at times, but not bad enough that the Mary Celeste couldn't handle it. On November 15, 1872, the brig Dei Gratia set sail, also destined for Genoa, Italy. It was captained by Captain David Morehouse, with first mate Oliver DeVoe. On December 5th, sea time, a helmsman notified the captain that he had spotted a ship about 6 nautical miles away. The ship was listing side to side and seemed to be floating aimlessly. The Dei Gratia got closer to this mysterious ship and could not see anyone aboard. Thinking something was amiss, Captain Morehouse sent first mate DeVoe and second mate John Wright to check it out. DeVoe and Wright discovered that the ship's yawl or lifeboat was missing. Some sails had been torn, and the wheel was unleashed. They found ample provisions, enough for at least 6 months, had been untouched. There was also some evidence that the Mary Celeste had been abandoned in a hurry. Some reports discuss a half-smoked pipe. They found an unfinished letter reading, "Fanny, my dear wife." The cabins were undisturbed. Left behind in the cabins, they found clothing, including a woman's dress and child's clothing. The crew also left behind their oilskins and sea boots, which would normally be taken when abandoning ship. They also found about 3 feet of water in the hold, which was not enough to endanger the ship. The 1,700 barrels of alcohol were untouched. They found a cutlass with what looked like rust stains on the blade, under the captain's bed. A storeroom drawer had been opened, and it looked like tins of meat had been taken. The crew could not find a reason for the Mary Celeste to have been abandoned. The ship's paperwork was missing except for the logbook. This suggests they were taken when the ship was abandoned. The last log entry was dated November 25, 1872. It said that the Mary Celeste was about 6 nautical miles from the Azores and had them in sight, although the ship was discovered drifting approximately 400 nautical miles from that location. First mate DeVoe convinced Captain Morehouse that they could make a salvage claim on the Mary Celeste and its contents. Morehouse sent DeVoe and 2 other crew members over to the Mary Celeste so they could bring it to Gibraltar and make the claim. They reached Gibraltar on December 12, 1872. The salvage inquiry began on December 17, 1872, under the Chief Justice of Gibraltar, Sir James Cochrane. British Attorney General Solly Flood read the prosecution and was bound and determined to prove there was foul play involved in the abandonment of the Mary Celeste at the hand of Captain Morehouse. According to some reports, Captain Morehouse knew Captain Briggs, so this wasn't totally out of the realm of possibility. Flood was known to have been the type to decide on what happened and not stop until he proved it. After 10 days in Gibraltar, the owners of the Dei Gratia were losing quite a bit of money due to the undelivered goods that they had been carrying. Captain Morehouse sent First Mate DeVoe with the Dei Gratia on to Genoa, Italy. Flood found this suspicious because DeVoe was his star witness. Flood said of the Mary Celeste that it was thoroughly sound, staunch, strong, and in every way seaworthy and well found, that she was provisioned, and that she had encountered no seriously heavy weather, and that no appearance of fire or explosion, or alarm of fire or explosion, or any other assignable cause of abandonment was discoverable. Flood thought the rust stains on the cutlass were actually blood stains. They were chemically tested and proven to be rust. He also thought marks on the Mary Celeste rails were blood stains, but they were later determined to not be so. Flood also thought that the cuts found on the sail were proof of foul play. It was determined that these cuts were made during construction of the Mary Celeste, however. The court found it suspicious that DeVoe left and that other evidence pointed to foul play. Perhaps the most significant evidence of foul play is that as one-third owner of the Mary Celeste, it's hard to fathom that Captain Briggs would have abandoned ship. It would take a long time for any of the Dei Gratia's crew to shake off the dark cloud that finding the Mary Celeste put over them. The Mary Celeste sailed under numerous owners, most of them losing money on the endeavors, before the final owner ran it aground for good in an attempted insurance scam on January 3, 1885. In January 1884, Cornhill magazine published a short fictional story written by Sir Arthur Conan Doyle about the Mary Celeste, which he renamed the Marie Celeste. This was just the beginning of the fictional stories written about the Mary Celeste. Ever since the Mary Celeste was found sailing empty more than 150 years ago, people have been fascinated by what may have befallen the mysterious ship. There have been numerous theories put forth to explain what may have happened. Some theorize that a giant octopus may have attacked the ship, or maybe it was aliens or pirates. Some think the Mary Celeste's crew may have committed a mutiny. Some think that as one-third owner, it's possible that Captain Briggs was attempting an insurance scam. The most likely theory to have been put forth so far seems to be that the crew fled when they thought that the alcohol that the Mary Celeste was carrying was going to explode, and that the yawl the crew escaped in was then lost in the squall. But what really happened to the crew of the Mary Celeste? What do you think?
If you're listening on Spotify, scroll down and let me know what you think. Thanks for listening to today's episode of That's Ready Mysterious. I'm your host, Kelly with an I. If you enjoyed this episode, leave a review and follow That's Ready Mysterious to be updated about new episodes. Tune in next Tuesday for another thought-provoking tale.